Hello and welcome back to this damnful idealistic crusade. This video is going over the couple of titles I picked up from the recent Kino Lorber Winter Wonderland sale and their ever-continuing going out of print sale, which has seen a lot of titles pop up there that I've just not been able to keep up with because there's so many. And the fear there is, of course, if Kino loses the license to it, since they do more releases than anyone, then the fear is, well, who exactly will ever release said title again? So as usual, these big massive sales mixed with the going out of print sale means you have to very much whittle down your cart to something more manageable. So I think it's helpful to look at the different titles they have and also go through ones that are not only important, but ones that have newer masters or scans and or supplemental features and things. So to go over what I picked up, again, this is a mix of the winter sale and the going out of print sale titles. So I'll start with the Preston Sturges titles I picked up. This first one is when he was still a screenwriter before he became a director, but I picked up 1935's The Good Fairy, which was directed by William Wyler and written by Preston Sturges. It's also credited as a new 4K master and has a commentary, so this is one of Sturges' earlier films I've just always meant to see, and since I've been getting back into viewing Sturges films, I decided to just pick up all of the Sturges films that Kino has put out that I hadn't gotten already. So I also picked up 1940's The Great McGinty, which sees Sturges enter the director's chair and is a classic in its own right. This is also credited as a new 4K master with a commentary, and I've been wanting to pick up these Kino Sturges releases for some time, since it doesn't seem like any other label is jumping onto doing Sturges titles. So these are by far technically the best presentations we've seen, because the Sturges library has needed an overhaul for some time, and it's nice to see Universal finally getting around to that. I picked up 1940's Christmas in July, which is another classic with the beautiful original poster artwork. This has a Sam Deegan commentary. I've really been wanting to see this again, especially around the holidays, so I figured the Blu-ray was a must. I also picked up 1949's The Beautiful Blonde from Bashful Bend, which is a later Sturges film and was in the going out of print sale and is quite inexpensive. So of these, I would definitely suggest people pick up this title first, because it's in the going out of print sale, and once it's gone, it's gone. It is not a newer master or anything. It's an older Kino release, so it should be an older Studio HD master, and there are no supplements, but it is nice to at least get another lesser discussed Sturges film on Blu-ray, and again, it's a good idea to pick this up before it is taken off the website. Next, for the rest of the directors, this is the one UHD title I picked up, and this is a title I think most of us have purchased many different times from different labels and on different formats. For some reason, it's a title that gets reissued a lot and has had several new masters, but I had to pick up the UHD release of Frankenheimer's The Train, one of the great World War II films, one of the great action films, and one of Frankenheimer's masterpieces, as is most of his catalog. This is still supremely underrated to this day and has seen some solid Blu-rays, but I'm really curious to see what the UHD does with a new 4K master from MGM, along with HDR, and also I'm thinking this probably carries over the same audio track as the previous Kino Blu-ray. Before this UHD, the best audio source has still been the Laserdisc, so I'm sure that's probably still going to be the case here. I've just been very curious about this new 4K master with HDR for The Train, which is just an absolute classic. We have the traditional Kino slipcover, which we're now used to, with original poster artwork, which looks pretty nice. And then take this off to find the same on the case. The artwork is actually reversible with original poster artwork on the reverse as well. We have the standard Kino labels on the disc themselves. This does include a Blu-ray copy of the film with supplements, and I believe this is the last Kino reissue Blu-ray, which was slightly upgraded over their original issue. I could be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure. So it's good that I didn't pick up that second Kino Blu-ray, because I would have been kind of miffed had it suddenly been that I needed to then rebuy the film again on the UHD that was announced shortly thereafter. So I'm glad I held off on that. But also, I didn't expect this. This actually has a booklet inside, which is just a real rarity for Kino in terms of, it's extremely rare for one of their releases to have a booklet, and let alone one of these UHDs. So I don't know if they're going to be trying to do this more often in the future, but it's got a nice write-up with a good, at least a couple pages, and also some images and things. So you see this every once in a while on a Kino disc, but it's been very infrequent over the years, and I was just surprised to find that this had a booklet. Next, for Henry Hathaway, I picked up 1934's Now and Forever, which of course stars Shirley Temple, Gary Cooper, and the legend herself, Carole Lombard. And I love Shirley Temple, as everyone does. I'm determined to see every Coop film ever made, but I'm certainly determined to see every Carole Lombard film ever made. But this also has a brand new master, at least it's credited as that, and it has a commentary along with the trailer, so that was just an extra inducement. Plus, it was on sale, and it was one of the Lombard films I did not have a copy of and have not seen in years and years and years, so I'm looking forward to seeing this newer master. I picked up 1956's 23 Paces to Baker Street. This was in the going out of print sale and was absurdly cheap. It's also credited as a new 4K restoration with supplements and a new commentary. And on top of that, there's really nice reversible artwork as well. So I was surprised to see this included in the going out of print sale. And I think it's best to focus on these titles from newer masters, particularly newer 4K masters when you're looking at which disc to purchase, and especially the ones that are going out of print, because these are going to be the biggest benefit of the ones to pick up versus a Blu-ray of an old master from 15, 20 years ago. So I couldn't say no to a noir I've always wanted to see, again, from a new 4K scan as well. Next, I picked up a newer Kino disc, which is 1938's You and Me, which is a Fritz Lang film that I've just never gotten to see, and seems to have echoes of at least Fury and You Only Live Once, because it's just coming after those, and stars Sylvia Sidney, who is paired with George Raft, and I'm fascinated to see what Lang did with Raft. This has always been on my watch list, and now I'm just really excited to finally be able to see it, also in a new 2K master, which is credited as, plus a new commentary and the trailer, so this was a must. And then I picked up from the going out of print sale, also for Lang, 1941's Western Union. This is one of the titles I've been meaning to get from the going out of print sale. This is the fact that Lang even made westerns still I find fantastic, and I've been wanting to revisit this, and I was waiting to pick up the Blu-ray, but in every sale I wind up hemming and hawing, going back and forth, and I finally decided to pick this up before it disappeared for good. We have nice original artwork, but this is an older master. It's not a new scan, and there are unfortunately no supplements, but still, this would be one of the titles I would recommend from the going out of print section. And then for the rest of the films going chronologically, I picked up 1922's The Trap, which is, of course, Lon Chaney Sr., and a newer 4K restoration from Universal. So I'm expecting some of the same beautiful quality that we've seen from things such as their Hunchback of Notre Dame restoration. This does have nice disc label artwork, and there are also substantial supplements, because this includes an early short Chaney film and also includes a 1996 feature documentary on Chaney. So it's quite important for the supplements, and you get a brand new one of these Universal 4K restorations with a new score for a much lesser discussed and little seen Chaney Sr. film outside of the more famous horror-tinged vehicles. Next, I picked up 1950's Shakedown, which was directed by Joseph Pebney. I've always had this on my watch list. I've just never gotten to see it. We have nice original artwork, and it's also advertised as a new 2K master. Plus, it has supplements, including a new audio commentary. So this just had my name written all over it and was extremely cheap in the sale they're running. And it's surprising they didn't put this in one of their noir sets, but they seem to every once in a while do noir titles outside of their sort of box set collection groupings, and this is merely one of those. From the going out of print section, I picked up 1951's No Highway in the Sky, which is really notable for reteaming Jimmy Stewart with Marlene Dietrich after their iconic pairing in Destry Rides Again, and of course, for those who know their Hollywood history, Stewart and Dietrich had a romantic relationship for some time, so it's fascinating seeing them all these years later in this film, which is quite underrated. I've been meaning to pick this one up as well. It's just one of those those titles that I've wound up putting back in different sales, so I finally decided to pick it up here. This is not a newer master, but it does have an audio commentary plus trailers, and if that was not enough, surprisingly, instead of just having alternate artwork, it's done on a much bigger scale. So we have an entire poster recreation here as the reversible art, which was a nice touch I didn't expect. So I just wanted to pick this up before it went out to print, so it gets me one step closer to my seemingly silly goal of trying to have a physical media copy of every single one of James Stewart's feature film career. Next, I picked up 1954's Night People, which was from the going out of print section. This was written and directed by Nunnally Johnson. Is set in post-World War II, but is sort of a spy thriller in certain ways, starring Gregory Peck. I've been wanting to pick up the Blu-ray because it's a new 4K master. This has always been on my watch list. I've just never gotten to see it, and I've wanted to pick up the Blu-ray since it came out because this is a new 4K master, and it has some good supplements as well. Surprisingly, this is already in the going out of print section, so it also being a newer 4K master, I would suggest picking this up before it's gone. And then last but not least, I have 1971's Mary Queen of Scots, which I've been wanting to revisit for ages. This film, of course, is probably more overshadowed by it coming just a couple years after The Lion in Winter, which is most likely why this got green-lighted in the first place, the success of that film. But this is still very handsomely mounted. It was produced by Halby Wallace, and of course has many James Bond connections because it stars a young Timothy Dalton in the cast, which is a stuffed cast, by the way. That's part of what makes this film so interesting to watch. You just get to see great actors tear into these roles, but it also has a John Barry score, and this release not only has nice extras, it has an isolated music track, so that, of course, meant I had to pick this up as both a James Bond and John Barry fanatic, and Barry is my favorite composer, and anytime there's a release with an isolated music track, I definitely try to pick that up. So those are the titles I picked up in the recent Kino Lorber sales. As always, their website sales are the absolute best time to stock up on titles, and their going out of print sale is just continuously running, and they add and subtract titles as it goes along. So it's always good to check and see what's been added to that, and to be able to finally chip away at just the massive amount of Kino titles, because they seemingly want to try and license everything. The difficulty then becomes in trying to afford these releases, but also in trying to suss out which ones are actually worth your money in terms of which are newer scans, which are older masters, which have supplements, which do not, and also comparing their releases with other labels to see, if a certain title's been released by somebody else. Frequently, they will have more supplements or there'll be other inducements. So it is very helpful to do quite a bit of research when one of these Kino sales comes around in terms of trying to establish which is the best release when you have a title that has different releases from different labels. So it's great that we have these sales. It's the best time to be able to stock up on building your film library, since Kino does license more than anyone in terms of just having a massive quantity of releases. But again, you do have to sift through it to not murder your wallet, and also establish which releases are best for your hard-earned money in terms of getting the most value and getting the best release for each individual title. So it does take a little bit of research, and I think we're all kind of used to that now. And it also takes time to whittle down your cart from $900 some odd to something more manageable. I seem to do this every time because I have problems. So as always, I hope my babblings about films and physical media releases has been at least somewhat fun and informative. If you've never checked out the Kino website, please do so, and check out always their going out of print section, because there are a lot of really important titles that are always being added and subtracted there. So as always, please do keep supporting both boutique and studio labels by buying films on disc to help keep both physical media and film culture alive. And as always, thank you ever so much for watching.